Hi, my name is Steph Van Dalen, and I'm LATRO's Marketing Communications Manager. Over the past 8 years here at LATRO, we've been pioneering the anti-fraud space within fraud management and revenue assurance. We've been successfully partnering with both telecom operators and national regulators to help them beat fraud before fraud happens. And that's really been possible because of our innovative, unique technology, but also our expert team in various departments that have made our success achievable. So I'm sitting here today with two of those said colleagues, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves, their role here at LATRO, and what they enjoy specifically about what they do with our team. So I will have you get started, Sarah, and then David will go on to you.
Sure. So I'm a fraud analyst with LATRO, so I work with a team of analysts in the U.S. to deliver strong analytical support and guidance to our international clients. So we do this by monitoring our analytical tool, which is our Versalytics software, and we adjust algorithms based off client feedback and fraud levels in the region.
Okay.
One of the things I've noticed in my first year at LATRO is that no 2 days are the same, so it really helps to have a strong team of analysts working together to brainstorm ideas and develop new ways to detect inbox fraud faster and provide enhanced analysis to our clients.
Sure. So I have a follow-up question to that. Can you share how big our team is now? I know we're hoping to grow as the business continues to grow, but it's you and how many other people on the team?
Sure. So there's 4 other analysts on the team besides myself, and so it's a growing team, I would say.
Yeah, and I can imagine you're learning from each other too on the various projects you're working on.
Yeah, definitely.
The other thing I was curious about, if you could share more on, is I know it depends on how busy we are at any point in the year, but about, on average, how many projects would you, as one fraud analyst, be responsible for? What's the average or the least you've ever had or the most?
Sure.
What does that look like?
So I think it changes a lot depending on, fraud activity in the region, but I would say anywhere from 5 to 10 projects at a time.
It's a lot. Yeah, I'm sure that keeps you busy.
It does.
All right, with that being said, David, on to you. What's your role at LATRO? What does it entail, and what do you enjoy about it?
So I'm the operations manager at LATRO. I would say majority of our clients have either heard from me or been annoyed by me at some point. But what I do is I kind of take the handoff from our sales team and I ensure project delivery. So that starts from the project kickoff phase where I make sure all documentation, different team members, different personnel, pieces of equipment, all kind of aligns properly to make sure that the project starts and ends in success. I also get the opportunity to speak to different teams on the client side. So that's really rewarding to be able to meet all these different kind of people and understand their roles in a different way. I definitely enjoy meeting clients, different teams, as well as delivering a successful project, because that means usually the point of contact at the client side gets to go to their boss and present like great findings, increased revenue, all those kinds of different positive aspects that we can provide.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm really glad both of you are here today, because I know we're going to be talking more about collaboration with clients, how that's really crucial to our joint success, both our success and our client success. And both of you are so forward-facing with clients. So I look forward to, as our chat continues, what we're going to hear from you guys in that regard. So thanks for the introduction.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. David, so given your role as operations manager, which you've been in for 5 years now, what would you say you've learned is what makes up an ideal relationship between us and our client?
Well, I started out in analysis just like Sarah, and then after a couple of years moved to operations management. And throughout all that time, there's definitely been a consistent factor, and that's when it's not really a client-vendor relationship. It's more of a team versus a problem relationship. So we both have the same goals. We want to get rid of fraud. We want to increase revenues. We want everyone to look good. So when our clients are actively engaged and I'm talking like daily communications over WhatsApp or email. I'll talk to the client more than my family during those initial parts, because it's that important. We want to make sure that the client understands what we're trying to achieve and why we're trying to achieve it. And then we also want to make sure that we're not rushing into failure. So as we're actively engaging, once the sales team hands it off to the operations team, we want to make sure that the client is aware of everything going on, and that they can brief their superiors on what's exactly occurring during each part of the project. So an ideal relationship is one that's extremely collaborative. It's daily communications, and it's one that we all have the same end goal in mind, which is project success.
Yeah, collaboration, it's just really key. This idea that we're partnering with them to help them look good, for them to achieve success, and that's success for us then. That's key. Sarah, given now that you've surpassed your first year at LATRO, can you share with us some of your biggest takeaways, lessons learned from your first year as a fraud analyst?
Sure, that's a great question. I would say that one of the biggest lessons learned in working as a fraud analyst and interacting with various international clients is having close client interaction. It's proved to be very successful in projects when the clients are collaborating with the LATRO team and we're working together and communicating well. I think that's really important.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit about what that's looked like on some of these projects with, a huge geographical spread? You're talking to someone in Southeast Asia. What does that look like for you to be available to clients at non-traditional Eastern Standard Time hours?
Sure, of course. Competing time zones is definitely an issue with collaborating conference calls or being available and having reasonable response times. So the analysts try really hard to be available as much during the client's workday as possible. So that means working outside of the traditional 9 to 5 hours in the US. But we're happy to respond via email, WhatsApp, Skype, to just try and answer any quick questions that our clients have so that we can work together and have a successful project.
Yeah, I know the fraud team really, your goal is really just to say to the clients, we're here for you, we're available, we want to be proactive, we want to be accessible, and we want you to succeed. So I know that can be a challenge, but I know it's something I've heard across the board in our team that your team does a really good job of. And I think that's probably one of the things that sets us apart is that close client interaction.
Yeah, it's proved to be really successful, and a particular project I can think of is one that we've had in the Middle East, where we collaborated with them almost daily by email and also by Skype, and we were able to identify a SIM server operation that was operating all across the country, and by identifying that, we worked with their networking team to try and increase the cell ID coverage with the probes that we had installed already. And that was very successful. We did that within a very short period of time, and we were able to cover all of the locations that the SIM server operation was operating in. And it proved to be successful in increasing the number of detections that we delivered, as well as basically making our clients happy.
And kind of taking it maybe even beyond the scope of the original project, or growing in your creative thinking, problem solving skills to figure out how you could make the return on investment even bigger for the client. So, and I know with that, I think it also involved other people on our team, right? Our solutions architect, other really skilled expert members of our team that were able to collaborate with you to make that a success. Is that correct?
Definitely. One of the great things about LATRO is we have a strong network of employees that have experience in all different areas of the telecommunications industry, and it just provides a strong value add for our clients that we have this, all these employees that have different areas of expertise in telecommunications.
It's fun to hear specific stories, so thank you for sharing that one.
Of course.
And I know we really appreciate our fraud analyst team, and you guys are the front lines, so thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
So David, given your role within operations, I'd love to hear more about what you've seen in terms of challenges LATRO has faced when we go to implement our solutions.
Yeah, there's always challenges and obstacles. We're dealing with a lot of different markets and regions, and even within certain regions, different operators go by different standards and practices. So there's always some challenges at play. I think one of the biggest ones is usually the sales team is interacting with the RA or the RA team or the CFO, where to implement our solution, because it's so technical and surgical, we kind of need multiple teams' buy-ins. So to get the networking team, the security team, the BSC team, all those kind of different teams on the client side available, as well as like understanding what we're doing and why we're doing it. It's definitely a challenge because not everyone knows what bypass fraud is. Not everyone knows what LATRO is trying to do. So that education aspect is definitely a challenge, just because it's hard getting everyone in the same conference room, virtual or in person, as well as, we have to explain why we need to put our solution at the BSC level as opposed to the MSC level to all the different people involved. So I think dealing with the different team members, it's rewarding because getting everyone on the same page, it usually leads to project success. But at the same time, just getting everyone to that point takes some time, which not everyone likes.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It takes time. It's a process, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a process for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Any other challenges?
Some other challenges would just be like the time zones and the language barriers.
Yeah.
I unfortunately speak no Arabic, French, Spanish, as much as I would like to. So that's definitely something that we try to address. We hire people all across the world that speak many different languages. So when I can't fulfill that need, we have someone come on and support that, as well as just the time it takes to get that going. Like you said, that can be an issue because when the RA team wants support, they want it as soon as possible, which we definitely understand. But we don't want to rush into failure. We want to do it right the first time and make sure that when we are delivering our product, it is fully showcasing all of our abilities, all of our unique solutions, and our depth of knowledge as well. So getting across that time hump can be hard, but at the end of the day, when both teams are aligned, it gets done.
Yeah, I can imagine on the operations end too, it can make maybe planning for projects a bit more challenging when the timeline maybe keeps shifting or keeps getting delayed.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things outside of our control too. It's not like we put in place the shipping logistics requirements to the West Africa. They're completely different than to Central Africa, et cetera. So those kind of challenges are hard to overcome. But again, it's all about being on the same page, having that kind of us versus the problem mentality, as opposed to us not delivering the solution mentality. So it's there. It's not something that's going away. I think LATRO's been good at implementing different processes and trying new procedures out to meet those obstacles and challenges. And sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not. And I'm sure the client is appreciative when we are, and more engaged when we're not, so we can make sure we can hit the marks they're trying to hit. Yeah,
and we learn from those times where it didn't
absolutely.
go quite as we had hoped.
Our entire process is completely different than it was 6 months ago, just because there's been that many new projects with that many new opportunities to learn and changes made. Yeah,
okay, I see. And I can imagine what I'm hearing you say too is with us trying to get buy-in from all these different types of teams on the client end, I can imagine there's different expectations coming at the operations team. So managing that across those different teams comes back to communication, getting everyone on the same page, which I know can take time. So would you say that managing expectations would be an additional?
Yeah, for sure. And it's something that I try to preach at the sales level, that it's going to take some time, but you're going to get what you're paying for, kind of thing. So as long as we understand when we send somebody on site to install our equipment, hey, we're budgeting for 2 weeks, we're trying to get it done in 1 day if possible. But that doesn't always happen, and as long as the client's aware that, all right, it might take some time, but at the end of the day, I'm getting what I'm paying for. I'm getting a solution that is fast and will deliver what I need to deliver to my supervisors what they need.
Right, yeah. I know the goal with the operations team, as soon as the data is up and running, then it's handed over to your team, and then us in marketing and communications, and we can correspond with your team about some of the success we're having, and it kind of comes full circle. So, thanks for sharing that. I think there's different layers to some of these challenges, but I know we work hard to try to mitigate those and to be proactive. I know how much you're tracking with all of these contacts and all of these different projects, and just trying to communicate effectively and efficiently. So, thanks for sharing that. So Sarah, given your role as a fraud analyst, can you share what you've seen or some of the challenges or misconceptions within the telecom industry, and what you've seen in your role?
Sure. So as a company, we are effective in catering our solution to provide immediate results for our clients. However, this creates a common misconception that once our solution is in place and provides immediate results, fraud detection levels go down. We come across the issue of running ourselves out of business because clients are conditioned to expect consistent results of detections daily.
Yeah, even when we've been detecting them, the fraud operation shut down, the fraud goes away. So really, we're doing our job, but it's re-educating, or better, more effectively educating our clients on the value of what we're providing, and I guess helping them understand what to look for. Not necessarily looking at the decreased fraud detection numbers, but looking at return on investment, correct, and increased revenue. So in addition to our team trying to do a better job of educating our clients, what do you see your team being able to do and currently doing and continuing to do to help kind of combat some of this particular misconception and maybe other ones that you've seen?
So we're consistently adapting and modifying fraud controls to help keep fraud levels low for operators and regulators. At LATRO, we're well aware that fraudsters are always changing their techniques, and their tactics, using advanced human behavior simulation, advanced tactics to mask their behavior as normal subscribers. So as a fraud analyst, this provides like a challenge to constantly stay ahead of these tactics and these techniques in order to detect them and report them to our clients.
I know it's our goal as a company to continue to be cutting edge, to be innovative, to adapt. And I think it's just something as industry continues. I think we're only going to see more of this, right?
Definitely.
So it's just going to, whether it's on the analyst team or across the team as a whole, it's just something that we're aware of and will continue to have to adapt and continue to combat some of the things we're seeing from the fraudsters.
I think that's what makes us really unique, is that our analyst team is very, we, like I've mentioned before, we were subject matter experts, so we kind of adapt to the different fraud techniques that are being used in different regions, because it's not universal.
I think the depth we can go to is definitely
so it makes us so great.
It's what sets us apart, isn't it?
It is.
So it's just encouraging to hear, and I know we'll see more of that need for adaptation as we move forward. And I think it challenges us to continue to think outside the box and to think proactively and to problem solve. So thanks for sharing that. It's really, really interesting. Sarah, I'd love to hear more about this subject matter expert framework that I know you and your team have adopted. Can you share what that looks like, what that entails?
Sure. So each analyst is tasked with a specific country, which cultivates us to become subject matter experts on the bypass fraud landscape within that region. Okay. So I think that's a unique asset we provide to our clients, is a knowledge base of how fraudsters are always changing their techniques to avoid detection. With our signaling analytics solution, we are able to provide device protocol signatures, advanced HBS, and other methods used by fraudsters. Through monitoring this data in our Versalytics software, each analyst is able to identify country-specific fraud trends and even the gateway models that are commonly used within the country. We encourage working closely with our clients, as mentioned previously in this discussion, to help educate one another and kind of keep above the different changing fraud tactics.
Okay. Can you speak specifically to the Wangiri fraud? That's a very specific type of fraud tactic. Can we go into that?
Yeah, sure. So recently we deployed a new software version to our Versalytics system, which gives us the capability to find Wangiri numbers. After deploying our new software, within just a few weeks, we were able to report several hundred Wangiri numbers to clients, which has proved to be a clear value add outside of our traditional bypass fraud solution.
Wow. Yeah, I know from what I've seen from the CFCA, I think in just a couple years ago in 2017, Wangiri fraud is a part of a bigger type of fraud, but worth over $6 billion in lost telecom revenue. So this is a really important value add for our clients, because this is something that's going on right now. It's very timely. So if we can help combat this the way we are, it's a huge advantage to us to be able to give this to our clients. So it's awesome to hear that, and I'm sure we'll continue to be developing new software features that can combat whatever the fraudsters throw our way in the future.
Definitely.
So thanks for sharing that. It was really interesting. So David, one of the most common complaints we hear is the amount of work we require from clients to get the project started, as well as the time in between contract signature and getting our solution actually implemented. Can you speak?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely get that complaint a lot. I completely understand, because our solution is so technical and does require a lot of coordination and work from different team members on the client side. So part of that is, we do require work from the BSC engineers, from the network team, from the security team, as well as the RA team, who we're usually dealing with. To get all those teams in the same collaborative workspace does take time, as well as there's usually action points for each team stemming from those initial kickoff calls. So getting all of that up and running can take some time, and it's something we're looking at improving every day, every new project. I know for a fact we've decreased the amount of time that it takes to implement a new solution.
Okay.
As well as, I think the goal I personally try to do is 8 weeks from POC or contract signature to actual acceptance testing and the suspect detections delivered by the analyst team.
Sure.
So I think that 8 weeks is fair. If it's shorter than that, we might be rushing into failure and not doing it right the first time. You know, I try to put myself in the client's shoes. If there is a hiccup in the project, I'd rather us take an extra 3 days making sure we have the right equipment, as opposed to sending the wrong equipment. We have a 3-week downtime because we sent the wrong equipment. It wasn't addressed when it should have been. So that's kind of where LATRO comes from in taking that long to get something implemented. We want to measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, probably saves time, valuable time and money that way too.
Absolutely.
It's costly in numerous ways to
Of
jump
course.
the gun.
Yep.
Can you speak to some of the things the operations team has learned through specifically trying to help manage expectations, what we've learned from our clients as you've worked through some of these projects and some of these challenges?
Yeah, one, just like we just talked about, it takes too long. So we learned that from our client. They're saying, hey, we signed this a while ago. We want you guys to implement because we're losing money. So some lessons learned is, increase process time, increase the amount of client communication to help increase the time to implement our project. So those are like specific challenges that have stemmed from client feedback, which is crucial to make sure that we're meeting the needs that are addressed. We also, our clients have such a wealth of knowledge about the fraud landscape and the telecom landscape. We're experts in fraud management solutions, but we're not experts in the specific area, as well as experts in the operators' processes and standards.
Right.
So we get to learn a lot. Each new project, each new person I get to deal with teaches me invaluable lessons that I can carry over to other projects.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think as we continue just to evolve as a company, I know we're constantly revamping our processes and working to improve, and that's just part of taking into account what we've learned from our clients. Hopefully they're doing the same on their end as well. So I think it's the right approach to take if we want to continue to move forward and continue to see more and more success.
Yeah, and client feedback too. Without that, we're not probably doing our jobs to the best we can, because we can think we're doing it right, but if the client comes in and has a great solution in place to a problem we didn't even know existed, that's something we take into account. We try to make part of our daily practice, and I've lost track on how many new ideas or new processes we've implemented because the clients came to us with a great idea.
Wow. Yeah, it's great when we can have, again, more collaboration.
Absolutely.
The communication is going both ways. It's just, it's really encouraging to hear. So I hope that continues. I know across, whether it's on the fraud team, whether it's on operations team, it's crucial to joint success. So thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah. Sarah, I'd love for you to share how you've found LATRO's corporate culture so far, being an employee.
Sure. So I really enjoy the work environment at LATRO. I really enjoy going to work every day. It's really great to have a company that has positive company culture and being a part of a team. So the team that I work on, we're very results oriented. You know, we're very collaborative and we communicate very often and clearly with each other, which is extremely helpful, especially because we're working on projects all over the world. And we also try to keep that communication up with our international team members as well. So I would say the company culture is very strong at LATRO, and they're really encourage employee goal setting. It's a great place to start and develop my career. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I know that's something we really try to provide for our employees, and it's something that, especially in this industry where it's growing and changing so fast, we want our employees to feel like they're doing the same. So that's good to hear. It's encouraging to hear. When you were talking about the team that you're a part of, what sorts of things do you do things outside of the office together, or what does that look like? Now, it sounds like you're not just colleagues in the office.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the other analysts on my team we're all similar in age, and so we get along fairly well. We're all interested in physical activities and doing things outside of the office together, and I think that really helps create like a good bond between the team.
Sure. Yeah.
Inside and outside of the office. So we're very comfortable working with one another.
Yeah, because I know it's important to really trust the people you work with. So I can imagine as you build relationships both in and outside of the office, that just can only better serve our team as we move forward and our customers as a result. So given how forward-facing your team is as well, I can see that is a huge benefit. So thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
So David, back to you. Given your experience at LATRO these last 5 years, I'm curious to hear how you've seen the company evolve over your time here.
Well, starting in 2014 was kind of really when we started pushing the signaling analytics and the protocol signature, kind of all those unique aspects that what makes LATRO LATRO.
Yeah.
So it's definitely evolved because we just have so many different solutions nowadays, as well as the amount of projects we deal with in the markets we're in. So the knowledge base has grown, the personnel has grown, our ability to detect fraud at the rate we do has increased dramatically. So our speed is something that we're definitely pushing and showing that that's where the client's getting its most value. So over the past 5 years, I mean, we've always been successful at doing what we claim we do, but now I think we can just do so many more things and accomplish a lot of different goals. When the client comes to us with a new problem, I think we're versatile enough and have done enough work around the world to show that we can answer that new problem in a quick and efficient manner.
Sure. Yeah, you'd probably say, too, over the past 5 years, you've seen our geographical spread of our team. And with the types of experts we have in different areas of the industry. We're moving into revenue assurance now. That's not something we were doing 5 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
The processes, I think you already touched on this, but processes have evolved and matured so that we can better serve our customers. So yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot. Did I miss anything there?
I've been fortunate enough to travel a couple times for the company, and I think just getting to see, when I traveled in 2015 as an analyst, we were drive testing and geolocating, and I did some training to teach the client about what we have to offer. That training and that geolocation process and everything I did in 2015, when I traveled again in 2017, completely different experience. Just because of how we've evolved as a company, the new processes we've put in place, as well as how the fraud landscape's changed in that time. So I think we're evolving with the times, and I think we're only going to continue to do so.
Yeah, for the purpose of scaling for future additional success.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
Great. Thanks for that, David.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Like I said in the beginning of this conversation, our success here at LATRO is really attributed to our innovative technology we're continuing to advance and develop, but also a really solid team of people to work with. So Sarah, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Steph.
David.
Welcome.
I know our whole team really values what you guys bring to our organization. So appreciate your time today. For those of you who did watch, we'd love for you to tune in again. Hopefully we'll have more content coming in the future, so stay tuned. If you have any questions at this point, feel free to visit our website. We're constantly, we have a blog on there, lots of information we have up there, and we try to update it. You can find us at www.latro.com. You can also email us at info@latroservices.com. Feel free to comment below on this video. We'd love to hear from you. And again, we look forward to seeing you next time. See you later.